Dan Mueller, Spokane Rod. We're here with a panel of people, and Dave Mueller and Doug Powers went over for the weekend, shot a bunch of poster stuff, and we're doing the projects. Dave Mueller.
Thank you.
And so today we had two of the hot rod gals out here shooting posters for the Dave Mueller race engines. Having fun with that, and you saw them in another video, which we'll put the link up with it. But many of you don't know that Dave Mueller is actually our uncle and builds motors in the slant 6 variety for many years. Most people ask the question when we talk about racing slant 6s, why a slant 6?
It's just something different. Everybody's got 340s and 440s. Ryan's got his Hemi, but a fast slant 6 is kind of hard to beat because it's something different. And you can't just go out to Summit and buy this part and buy that part. You have to either fabricate it, make it, or make it work from something else. And to me, it's a big challenge to make something go.
And a lot of people don't understand that slant 6 was the smallest cubic inch of the time that you could buy in the production cars
They made a 170, a 198, and a 225.
during those years.
Yeah,
And
basically.
the slant 6s were kind of like the leaning tower of power, which
Economy, one barrel.
ended up being the worst part of it all, is they were trying to sacrifice the horsepower for the economy.
Yep.
You've seen some of our stuff with the racing band, with our internet web pages and stuff. We've been going to Woodburn. Dave Mueller was the one that we all run down there and camp with, and that brings up Doug Powers. Doug's been kind of on the scene doing the transmission stuff, and you've seen some of our logos we've been putting out, having fun with the same concept with the Dave Mueller racing. We've also done Doug Powers racing transmissions. What got you into rebuilding transmissions?
I needed to do that for myself, and I liked the mechanics of it, and so I built a couple for myself, and then enjoyed it. So other people asked me to work on theirs, and so that's how I got started.
So did it surprise you when we were doing the Doug Powers racing transmissions logos?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that was pretty what do you call it, enthusiastic when we started. But a lot of the stuff we do with Spokane have been graphics and media, obviously photos, obviously Photoshop and stuff like that. So we wanted to have some fun with the van, with it getting a lot of traction at the racetracks and racing with that. Everybody says, well, it's got a V8, and when you say, no, it's just an open header slant 6. It goes back to Dave Mueller racing motor, Doug Power racing transmission.
How did you get started in racing?
I originally had a 66 GTO right out of high school, and I put a 400 in it with dual 4s and big cam and headers and, low gears, 4-speed. And I wrecked it. And then Mom was all upset because I wrecked my GTO because I almost killed myself. So they went on vacation. I came home and there's a 67 Firebird sitting in the driveway. And that was my next race car. And I raced it for quite a few years, and it finally blew up, and I kind of lost interest because it cost way too much money to get that thing running again. So I sold the car, and then 5 or 6 years later, I bought a Valiant wagon for my street car, and it just kind of progressed from there.
I remember the wagon, you had the stock motor or stock 1-barrel in it, and then you put a 2-barrel on it, and then you cammed it, and
Oh, yeah.
couldn't stop.
Yep. In my racing career, I've raced a 1-barrel, 2 1-barrels, 2 2-barrels, 3 2-barrels, 2 4-barrels, fuel injection. Did I miss anything?
Your turbocharger.
Oh, yeah, it's coming. Future project. So I pretty much had them all.
With racing the slant 6 stuff, Doug also races slant 6s. What have you done?
I have a 64 Valiant that I bought specifically to race a slant 6, and that's been my race car for quite a few years. And my street car is also a Duster with a slant 6 in it, so I've always been interested in slant 6s. And that's
So you've done 1-barrel.
I've done one. I do the 1-barrel, with the Duster. I still race that occasionally when the weather is bad, and the 64 has a built engine in it that has a 4-barrel on it,
Yeah.
and
You gonna go faster or more?
no, that's as fast as I can handle.
Well, Brett, how about you? How'd you get involved in the slant
Oh.
craziness?
Well, I would say words that are not allowed to be said on YouTube, but that guy, Darren over there, got me involved in it. Originally, we were working together, and he just brought, he was talking about Woodburn, and I should come down, and this and that, and I couldn't make it the first year because work. And then next thing I know, we're talking about getting a car, and I'm like, yeah, I like Dusters. Dusters look good. So I went and look at a couple and end up getting one, and the one that I ended up getting actually ended up being a lot nicer condition than most Dusters. Bottom was fully painted, and it had a fuel injection on it, and the headers already, and it's been a good vehicle for me, and now I'm gonna be putting a Dave Mueller Slant 6 in it, and Doug Powers transmission in it, and also a rear end with posi in it.
Our goal is to, get Brent's motor and the van's motor is real close. And so it's gonna be fun to see, when we're going down there, who could beat who.
Oh, I'm gonna beat
Of
you.
course, the van's got the windbreak problem, I'll start saying that.
That sounds like excuses.
But when Brent has the bad timing problem, then we should even out. But, ultimately, the goal is to beat these two guys, Doug and Dave here to, go to the track, have fun. Obviously, they got the faster cars, but it's not all about speed. Sometimes it's all about having fun.
Having fun and drinking beer.
I already proved myself. I won the first time I went down.
How fast would your car? 1899.
Well, it was hot that year. The guys wanted to drink beers.
That's gotta be one of those.
But the camaraderie going down to Woodburn is everybody goes down. We all try to have fun. You got multiple cars that run, from
22 seconds down to, 13, 12?
12s and 26.
Yeah.
11 in a dragster.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So the fastest speed you went and what car was what?
The fastest I've ever gone, well, I actually have 3 race cars. 36 Plymouth, a 69 Plymouth, and then the 65 wagon, which is the original race car. And it's got a 13-to-1 motor with 3 2-barrels and a mechanical roller cam and a Lenco 5-speed and custom frame. And the fastest it's ever been is 115 at 1150s on methanol. But it's a lot more work than just getting in, putting a seatbelt on, and having fun. So
Do you remember the slowest time you've ever been? And then
probably my street car.
I remember you were talking, bringing some street cars down and having fun.
Like Doug said, if the weather's kind of iffy, I don't want to put all my car in a trailer and haul everything down there. I just put my stuff in my street car and run a blistering 20-second quarter. At least you get practice going down the track and have fun, meet your buddies down there.
What about you, Doug? What's the fastest in what car did you do it in?
That was in my 64 Valiant, and it runs 1280s at about 98 miles an hour. And my Duster runs 18 seconds at 75 miles an hour.
Down where Brent's car is.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, not as bad as
Brent's leading now because, once he starts trying to win.
Yeah, not as bad as your 26 seconds.
26, I've never ran 26.
I thought you ran a 26. I'm like,
Bone stock?
20 was the fastest with bone stock.
yeah. So you
20,
talking about a race.
20, we got it down to the 20. And then I think we might have done a 1990.
I don't think so.
I'm so proud that he went right under 20 barely.
Yeah, I think it was a 1997 or something like
Yeah.
that. And I was like, yeah, I was all happy about it.
Yeah, because you finally broke under 20s.
It's not about the speed. Sometimes it's not about the how fast you can go. It's about timing and catching the guy in front of you, or
Oh, that was one of the best parts was when we did the 8th mile because of bad weather. I go and have pictures of my car up on Facebook and stuff so everybody gets to see my car, and it says I can run 13s.
Yeah. So we've had a lot of fun, and we're here in a Rock Ranch studio today. We did a barbecue, we did 2 Hot Rod Gals, we did 2 posters. You'll be seeing them coming up once we get things edited, probably added to the end of this. And we look forward to doing some more Woodburn stuff. Obviously, the next goal of ours is to get Brent's new motor in his Duster. And then once we get it running halfway, we'll get it to Woodburn and let them tune it again.
That's a Dave Mueller racing motor.
That's a Dave Mueller racing motor. Well, we built the block, 40,000, the deck, took 60 off the head, bored the engine over, put an organ cam in it, and put some oversized valves in it, and just some little special little tricks on the oiling system, and onto the head a little bit, and away we go.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. I really am. And then my transmission is currently giving me problems, and so I've got another transmission coming. Doug made me a amazing transmission. I'm really looking forward to that.
Just hope it works.
I'd like to mention that the transmissions that I work on are all the Chrysler 904s. I don't really do
Forward
transmission Fords or Chevys or anything.
Well, you shouldn't have mentioned that part.
I just do the ones that we use in the race cars.
Yeah.
And the best thing about it is, we all joke about the professional stuff, but everybody at Spokane Hot Rod is volunteer, from the people on the media team to the people helping behind the scenes to the cars that are coming in and volunteering. We got a lot of people in the studio that kind of help build stuff. It's the same thing with Dave Mueller Race Engine, Doug Powers Racing Transmissions. They're not in it for a business. They don't sell the stuff. It's all about the camaraderie and coming together and sharing the experience and keeping people running and challenge people to go faster and building stuff that don't break.
Yes.
You look at how many motors have you went through probably to get to this point?
Probably 25.
Yeah, so I can't afford 25 motors, so I'd rather, have a motor that I know, we can shift at 5,000 RPM and, you'd never get that out of a regular street motor with a 1 barrel not consistently.
So that's where I first met Doug at, because I didn't use about the good push rods when you increase your spring pressure, so I bent a push rod. And that's where I first met Doug like 25, 26 years ago. So I learned you don't use stock push rods when you put big springs in.
Yeah.
Well, don't do that no more.
You told him that?
No. No.
Self-learned.
He is the engine master.
But it's been a lot of fun, and so we're talking about turbo. Is that what I heard you say, Doug? About
The turbo is going to go in the same time Doug's 13-to-1 motor goes. So we'll just let it go.
Oh, your turbo's in trouble.
a little bit of camaraderie there. Like I said, it's fun to see what the Dave Mueller race engine comes up with. I get questions all the time with people online asking about, oh, that would never run with that carburetor, or
Oh, I hear that all the time. You can't have a slant 6 with dual 4 barrels. Well, it seems to work for me.
And that's the beauty of it all, is they come by the pits and you see a variety of things. I think even one slant 6 has Richard's car has motorcycle carbs on it.
6 motorcycle cars, yeah.
And then, of course, Scott's building one with motorcycle carbs. 3 of them. So that's coming in the future, hopefully soon. But, like I said, it's a slant 6 deal here. It's sure we could go faster with more money and bigger motors, but it's just something different when you're running down the track and you're streaming these things and people are looking at it going, wow. And then they realize it's a slant 6, and it's, kind of you see their eyes go, really? It's kind of fun.
I was at a race one time up at Riverdale, and my buddy was standing, he was watching me, and these 2 old guys said, gee, 6 old guys, when are they going to learn you can't make those things go? And then I ripped off some really fast 8th mile, and I go, oh, I guess you can.
Well, another thing about us racing is I know you mentioned camaraderie a lot, but It's the fact that nobody really races slant sixes. So we're the main group. So we all, every person you race, you know who you're racing.
Yes.
And so we go back and we're all camped at the same area, and it's just clowning each other 24/7. You know, it's either you lose and you get the first beer, or you win and you tell the guy that he sucks. You know?
Yeah, and you don't want a red light, because if you red light, you're gonna hear about it all day.
Yeah.
And then you get the chance of the next day to, redeem yourself. And then, of course, when Brent has a slower car and I gotta step on the brake to slow down. we go-
Oh, step on the brake.
A lot of fun there. Like I said, it's a lot of fun with the racing stuff. Some people call it cheating, some people call it winning.
I call it cheating.
Obviously, we lost that race. But
From what you've ever been to Woodburn, it's a great track. The people treat you really good. You got a nice grass to park on. It's not a bunch of sawdust or dirt or, mountain ash and
Gravel.
gravel. So it's a great place to race, and they appreciate people coming back.
and not all tracks have a designated flathead slash,
Right.
inline six category. So, again, the Woodburn has been great support for all of us, and that probably comes with the fact that we have so many in that class. If there was only 2 or 3, then we might be in trouble, but we're consistently running, 7, 8, 9 cars, and that gives them a reason to keep going.
I think at one time we had 16 cars,
Yes.
16 slant six cars, but then everybody kind of pooped out. Well, the excuses. You always get the excuses.
Well, the problem is the money. You used to haul
Money and
cars.
time, commitment.
Yeah.
But the cars are getting harder to find, the slant sixes are getting harder to find. And then the money, it's just, how hard is it to find the parts for the motors now? It's just getting harder and harder. I imagine the transmissions are the same.
Exactly. That transmission hasn't been built since 1978.
So that just puts a kind of a rainy cloud on what's going on, but we'll keep going until we keep going.
Well,
Till
hopefully-
one runs out of motors.
Hopefully we have actually more slant sixes. We got somebody with a slant six over here and somebody over there with a slant six.
That's a day.
A person over there with a slant six.
Derek's got his truck that he didn't bring today that he's supposed to.
Like say another thing, Durwood, that I like to spend a lot of money on really good parts, like the rear end and that kind of stuff. But if you got a really fast car, you break that stuff all the time. If you turn on like that 10-second quarter, you go through rear ends, you go through transmissions. Well, in our class, since we don't have that much torque, you can make those good parts last a long time.
And like I said, I want to say thank you to everybody today that kind of showed up and made today happen. We've had a pretty big meal, ate lunch,
Mhm.
a couple beers. Yeah.
Well, interviewing the girls earlier, they were a little bit better looking.
A whole lot better. Stay tuned.